The Thuringian Agency for Skilled Personnel Marketing presents this input on application portfolio basics. One aspect of our work is to support people who are searching for a job, a vocational training, or an internship in Thuringia. In personal consultations and various events, we offer information and tips on job search and application. At our Thuringian Job and Career Fair, potential skilled workers can get to know Thuringian employers. The TAF is founded by the Free State of Thuringia. This input addresses the purpose of application documents and names the various components of an application portfolio. There are also tips on how to write a cover letter and CV and information on which supporting documents should be included in the attachments. Why are application documents still needed in times of increasing shortages of skilled workers? In general, application documents still play an important role in the application process. Regardless of whether you are applying for a specific job posting or sending an unsolicited application, your application conveys the relevant job-related information about you. As a result, your application documents, of course, influence the first impression a potential employer has of you. To generate interest, your application should therefore contain information about your professional experiences, training, and qualifications. The application should clearly show your motivation and interest in the position and the employer. It should also demonstrate your suitability for the position or for working at the company. With all the information it contains, application documents also form the basis for the next step in the application process, especially for the interview and any salary negotiations. As already mentioned, your application documents are usually the first impression a potential employer gets of you. A clear structure of the application portfolio as a whole and a clear layout of the individual application components make it easier for the reader to grasp the important information. Application documents include the cover letter, your CV, diplomas, and certificates. You also have the option of using a cover sheet. Detailed information on the individual components can be found on the next slides. A cover sheet is not a must in the application documents. However, since your contact details are listed on the cover sheet, you will gain more space in your CV. The cover page contains a headline stating the position you are applying for or making it clear that this is an unsolicited application. If you use an application photo, this will also be placed on the cover sheet. The application photo is certainly one of the most discussed parts of application documents. Is an application photo necessary or is it no longer up to date? From a strictly legal point of view, the use of an application photo in the application portfolio is not mandatory, and the potential employer may not demand that you use a photo in your application. Nevertheless, the application photo has a long tradition in Germany and is still common practice. In a survey conducted in 2020, 65% of the HR managers questioned stated that they still consider the application photo to be an essential part of the application documents, while 35% either go without it or consider it optional. This ratio will shift with the increasing international orientation and digitalization of application processes, but the application photo will retain its importance in some sectors. HR managers for whom the application photo is important say that the photo gives them a more personal impression of the applicant. In addition, a professional application photo would show the applicant's care and commitment. Conscious and unconscious discrimination risks on the part of the employer speak against the use of an application photo. In addition, an application photo could unintentionally distract from the applicant's qualifications and suitability. If you are unsure whether you should use an application photo in your portfolio or not, you could also offer to submit a photo on request in your cover letter. If you want to use an application photo, you should opt for a professional photo. Choose a friendly, relaxed pose and appropriate clothing for the position. Let's move on to the cover letter. The cover letter is the first part of the application portfolio and builds the bridge between you, the job offer, if available, and the employer. In the cover letter, you make it clear why you are applying for the job and at the company. The cover letter is usually a continuous text in which the most important points of your educational or professional background and your qualifications are emphasized. The purpose of this is to make your suitability and fit clear. The content of the cover letter therefore relates to the connection between your professional experience and skills and the position and the employer. With the cover letter, you show briefly and to the point why you are suitable for the position and the company. The cover letter should not exceed one A4 page. Use key terms from the job or company description without copying the text. A clear structure with an introduction, main part, and conclusion is the basis for a good cover letter. The use of paragraphs and an easy-to-read font in size 11 to 12 make it easier for the reader to grasp the most important information of the cover letter. An active writing style also promotes comprehension and comes across as more confident. An active writing style is characterized by the use of active verbs, precise statements, and specific examples, as well as the avoidance of modal verbs such as could, would, or should. Every beginning is difficult, especially when writing a cover letter. To get started, you can take inspiration from various freely available cover letter samples on the internet. The use of text-generating artificial intelligence can also make it easier to get started with writing. It is important not to simply copy the content and wording from templates and to use a customized cover letter for each application. Next part is the CV. Current surveys show that recruiters attribute the greatest importance to the CV in the application process. Clarity, good readability, and consistency are therefore the be-all and end-all. A tabular format has proven itself for the layout of the CV, in which information on previous experience and qualifications are organized into thematic sections. Examples for these thematic sections can be found on the next but one slide. In the sections, always start with the most recent activity, it is in reverse chronological order. The time period for each activity, from to, is indicated by month and year. Stages and experiences that are particularly important for the advertised position should be emphasized, with 2 to 5 main tasks or key contents. The length of the CV is based on the scope of your work-related experience. As a career starter or a young professional, your CV should be no longer than 2 A4 pages. If you have more than 10 years of professional experience or relevant leadership or management experiences, 3 pages are also possible. The CV should be as complete as possible, which is why you should include, for example, parental leave, periods spent abroad, or professional orientation phases of more than 3 months. It is also important to use correct and complete job, professional, and degree titles. The design, it is the specific layout, used graphic elements, or even the used font, should be based on the desired position and the economic sector of the employer. An application in a creative field can, of course, be designed more artistically than an application for a management position in a more conservative industry. You can find ideas for the design of your CV in the sample CVs in the download area of our website. In addition to the personal data that belongs in the CV, if no cover sheet is used, the thematic sections in the CV can be, for example, the professional career, studies, or completed further training, as well as information on specific knowledge. The appendix is the last part of the application portfolio. Here you will find the diplomas and certificates that are relevant to the position. If available, start with the work and midterm references. These should not be older than 15 years. This is followed by your university degrees or vocational training certificates. And finally, you attach any further training certificates or alike that are relevant to your application. Not every stage in your CV needs to be documented with a certificate or diploma. Prioritize at this point. Do you have questions concerning application documents? Further information, event notes, and counseling services are available on our webpage.